Recording will come to order. This time will the clerk please call the roll call?
Mayor Baca,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Present.
Councilmember Carasadas,
Present.
Councilmember Perez,
Present.
Councilmember Montoya,
Present.
City Attorney Eric Vell,
Present.
City Manager Tanya Williams.
Present.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go into closed session. Call on the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. There are 4 items on your closed session agenda this evening. The first is a conference with legal counsel with regard to potential initiation of litigation. Your second item is a conference with your real property negotiators that has to do with property located at 134 Willow Avenue in the city of Rialto. Item 3 was or is a conference with legal counsel with regard to anticipated litigation. This happens to relate to a matter brought by the Regional Water Quality Control Board that asked that we continue that item over to your next meeting. We've got an extension of time from the Regional Water Quality Control Board to consider their settlement offer, and staff needs a little bit of time to consider it and see if it's reasonable.
So then let's continue with item number 3.
That's right. And item 4 is a conference with legal counsel with regard to 2 items of existing litigation. Both of these are Robertson versus City of Rialto, but they are different subject matters. That's the end of the report.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address any of the items in closed session? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to close?
Move to continue item 3 and move to closed session.
Second.
Motion been made by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott to continue item number 3 and close session, seconded by Carla Perez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. We'll move into closed session.
Being a prostate cancer survivor can make a man feel all alone in the fight, especially in the Inland Empire. I should know. I am a 6-year prostate cancer survivor. That is why we started the Walnut Tribe Support Group, a nonprofit support group for prostate cancer survivors and their families, where they can get help, support, and information to guide them through it all. Now, in partnership with the Pink Ribbon Place in Riverside and the Greater Faith Bible Church in Rialto, we will have our in-person and Zoom meetings at 2 locations, both beginning at 6 p.m. The Riverside meetings will be held on the first Wednesday of every month, and our Rialto meetings will be held on the third Tuesday of every month. If you have been diagnosed with prostate cancer or know someone who has, feel free to join us in the fight. These meetings will be free and open to the public.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
When the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Have you removed objects? When the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Have you removed objects from over the bed and over your head? Anchored your possessions securely to the wall. It won't be a pain, and you're not doing it in vain. Are your emergency kits packed? What about your family, your friends? Did they know what to do, how to get in touch, and where to meet? Do you know how to drop, cover, and hold on, covering your head and neck? What if you're outside? Or in a car? After the shaking stops, look around. Figure out what to do. Stay away from damaged areas. Turn on a radio. Reach out for help. And if you're trapped, do not move about. Stay calm. Only shout as a last resort. Once everything and everyone is safe, get prepared. An aftershock could be on its way. So before the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, get prepared. Make a plan. Practice what you know, because an earthquake can happen anytime, anywhere. You never know.
guys, welcome back to our show. What are we calling this? Vendor shoutouts, farmers market, whatever the case is. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment down below. But we're here at the Rialto Certified Farmers Market, and today we will be talking to one of our vendors who is Happy Hog Farms. They have been here with us for a very long time at the farmers market, so let's go check them out. All right, guys, we are here in front of Happy Hog Farms booth. All right, let's get started. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your business?
We're local. We're in downtown Riverside, so we try to come out and try to support people for access to like fresh fruit, organic. A lot of stuff that we sell right here we grow it, whether it's sugar canes, avocados, lime, and then the juice machine, that's oranges from Riverside County. Everything is local.
Do you have any best sellers or anything that customers love?
The guacamole, that's the best seller. My brother makes it, but a little bit of tomato, a little bit of lime, and there's a lot of guacamole, a lot of chunks of avocado, so it's really, really good. That's our best seller, and the tamales. Everything is freshly made, and they're Mexican tamales, because people ask, what kind are they? Because some people use banana leaves, we use corn leaves. We have beef, pork, chicken, and cheese for the people that don't eat meat. And then we sell ceviche, fish, shrimp, vegan.
All right, do you have any fun or interesting facts about the business?
Well, what people don't really know that we're only allowed to use local. So when we press the juice, we're only allowed what's in season. You know, so sometimes it's not as sweet as it was, because once we run out of the navel, we'll start the Valencia, and it'll get sweeter as the weeks go by. So people don't know that, so they'll think like, why aren't you just getting the sweeties that's on right now? But we don't get our stuff from like the markets or the commercial. It's all locally farmed.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. All right, guys, well, that was Happy Hog Farms. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
When the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Have you removed objects from over the bed and over your head? Anchored your possessions securely to the wall. It won't be a pain, and you're not doing it in vain. Are your emergency kits packed? What about your family, your friends? Do they know what to do, how to get in touch, and where to meet? Do you know how to drop, cover, and hold on, covering your head and neck? What if you're outside? Or in a car? After the shaking stops, look around. Figure out what to do. Stay away from damaged areas. Turn on a radio. Reach out for help. And if you're trapped, do not move about. Stay calm. Only shout as a last resort. Once everything and everyone is safe, get prepared. An aftershock could be on its way. So before the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, get prepared. Make a plan. Practice what you know, because an earthquake can happen anytime, anywhere. You never know.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Lynn Brown Summers, and I am a Master Gardener and Master Food Preserver with the County of San Bernardino. I am with one of the 3 community gardens here that is in the city of Rialto. Here we teach free classes, we are stewards of the land, and we just would like to invite everyone to come out and learn a little bit about gardening and all the volunteer opportunities. So welcome to Rialto's Community Garden.
What brought me here was the food prices are kind of going up. So me and my girlfriend are trying to figure out the self-sustainability. So this is one good way. I mean, if you're interested, there's a community here, there's classes, take advantage.
Throughout our daily lives, we encounter times where the equipment we use needs to be taken in for service or for upgrades, from system updates on our computers and phones to maintenance on our cars. During these periods of maintenance, the equipment is usually not available for use. The electrical system is no different. Occasionally, Southern California Edison needs to de-energize and take portions of the system offline so that crews can safely make repairs or upgrades. When Southern California Edison schedules maintenance, we will begin mailing out outage alerts 7 to 10 days before the outage to ensure that you have time to properly prepare. When you receive one of these maintenance outage notifications, here are some key things to pay attention to. Number 1, the outage number. If you have any questions about the outage or status of the outage, you can call SCE or visit our outage map at sce.com for more information. Number 2, the estimated start and end times. These times are estimates. We will try to reduce the length of the outage so the actual times may be different. Also, be sure to understand the times and the length of time of the outage, as some outages are conducted overnight. Number 3, the impacted address. This may seem obvious, but many customers have more than one location where they receive electricity. Number 4, resources and tips for how to prepare for an outage, including tips for electronic items and food safety. If you want to get even more time to prepare for an outage and to receive communications digitally, including updates if an outage is canceled or the restoration time is rescheduled, please log into or register your account at sce.com and select your desired notification preferences: email, text, or phone.
Hey Rialto, my name is Maria from the City of Rialto's Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department, and I'm excited to share some awesome news with you. We're thrilled to announce the completion of the resurfacing project at Rialto City Park, reinforcing our City Council's commitment to maintaining high-quality public spaces that meet the needs of our families. As a family-first community, we believe that well-maintained, safe, and accessible parks foster a stronger sense of togetherness and community pride. So, what's new? First, check out these bold, vibrant colors. Not only do they look amazing, but they're designed for better visibility and to bring energy and enthusiasm. These colors reflect our city's identity and our dedication to providing top-tier recreation and amenities. Plus, we've introduced Rialto's first ever pickleball courts. As part of the project, one of the tennis courts has been converted into 4 designated pickleball courts, giving our residents a fun new way to stay active. There's still more. We added our City of Rialto's Parks and Rec logo to the basketball courts and extended the fence between the pickleball and tennis courts to enhance the experience of our players. Interested in playing on the pickleball and tennis courts? Visit the Rialto Fitness and Aquatic Center for access. The basketball court is open for public use, so come in and shoot some hoops. We know that recreation plays a vital role in building a healthy and active community. That's why we continue to work towards keeping our parks, recreational facilities, and gathering places to a high standard that enhances the quality of life for our residents. This project was made possible by funding through department funds and the California Prop 68 per capita grant program. At the City of Rialto, we take pride in shaping a thriving and innovative recreational landscape, ensuring that our city keeps pace with growth while maintaining high standards our council desires and our residents deserve. We are committed to the future of Rialto, where families thrive, public spaces inspire, and recreation brings people together. We can't wait to see you at the courts.
What do you think about the new courts?
Awesome. Love the fiberglass backboard.
Nice.
And I was here the other day when they were painting it. So yeah, but I got to come with my son and shoot some hoop.
It's impressive. You know, they did a great job with them. And the colors, I love the colors.
They're so vibrant and welcoming. It's like you just want to come and buy a new basketball. I love them.
Gets your attention right away, and it's very nice to see that the city's actually doing something for the park. It's a really nice upgrade.
I like how you can raise a court, you can make it higher, lower and higher for the littler kids. I like everything about it. I like the environment. I like how it's gated up for the kids. I like it. Shout out to Rialto. Y'all doing y'all big one.
I think about the courts is fire, and thank you for our community.
Nice.
I think about the court is that I love it so much. This is every hooper's dream, and thank God for everything.
Nice.
Ooh.
What do you think? You
It's
like
just
them?
fire.
Yeah, you fire?
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right,
I'm
you guys
gonna
want to
shoot
shoot? Yeah, go.
I'm gonna shoot a half court. Hey, I'm gonna shoot the half.
I'm Scott McAfee of Don's Bikes, and we are rooted in Rialto. The stores opened on April 1st, 1959, so 66 years ago, a long time, which is pretty wild. It was a little hole-in-the-wall store up the street at that point, and my dad pretty much ran it all by himself. And I'd say, you know, as a kid, I grew up in the business, so I would do a lot of the purchasing for him. I'd work on bikes, and I think at that point I got a rough idea of like how to run a small business. 5 days after my 18th birthday, my father passed away. He was actually riding his bicycle home. He had a heart attack and passed away. So I became a small business owner at 18. It was not what I planned on doing for a living. I was actually in college at the time and was getting my degree in psychology. I wanted to be a counselor, ended up getting my master's in counseling. And but we decided to keep the business because it was generating an income, was getting me through school. So we thought, okay, let's keep this thing. And we ended up moving down here at this current location in the early 80s. We just ran out of room. So we made the big leap and kind of tripled our size. And I remember it was pretty scary at that point, like, wow, are we gonna be able to afford this rent? You know, will the business accommodate that? And sure enough, it did. And we continued to grow. I started hiring people to run the business, to help run it. We did several expansions at this location in Rialto. And then in 2012, we opened up our Redlands store, which is like 3 times the size of this place. And that took off like a rocket from day one. And here we are like 66 years later. It's one of those things, if my dad could see us now, he'd be blown away. Not only as far as the things we do, but just the depth and the difference of products that we offer now. Electric bikes are incredibly popular. We're actually selling electric motorcycles now, something I never thought I would be selling. We sell a lot of high-end carbon bikes that have electronic shifting. My bike has electronic shifting on it. We have entry-level bikes. I mean, if you want something for like 13 grand, we've got those. But if you want more like an inexpensive bike just to commute back and forth to work, we do sell used bikes as well. So it's a variety, and there's a lot of different categories of riders. That's, I think, the thing that keeps me interested and motivated in this business. You just never know what you're going to work with next. It's a very, very diverse group of people, but what they all share in common, I think, is a love of cycling. And I see the expression on people's faces if they've been off a bike for a while. When they come back from a little test ride, they've always got that smile on their face, like, wow, it's like being a kid again. So it's really cool. Our address is 384 South Riverside Avenue in Rialto. We're open from 10 till 6 Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4 on Sundays. Or you can go online to donsbikeshop.com. We do a lot of repair work. This place is crazy. On a weekend, we do a ton of repairs, so we have quite a few mechanics. I have 22 employees total. A lot of them are dedicated mechanics. This is what they do all day long. They fix other people's bikes. And we work on all kinds of bikes, not just the ones we sell, but pretty much bikes from all over the place. The cool thing about this business is it is about health, fitness, psychological health. You know, as I know, just getting a master's in counseling psychology, anything you can do to reduce stress is just a win-win. And so we are tied in with fitness, with health, with recreation, with community, with giving people groups to ride with. We do events with the city and we partner with them on a lot of different things. We do have the ride out for the teens. Rialto PD gives us an escort for that. We also had some really cool celebrities come out. These are people from the biking world from like the 80s, or kind of the stars, if you will, of the BMX world that came out to be part of our event. So, we kind of been part of this community for a very long time. And, when people have asked, well, why do I like to give back to my community? And it's because my community has given so much to me. And probably one of the favorite things I like about doing this is you get to really know people in this business. Kind of like a barber or hairstylist where you talk to people and you get to know their stories. I mean, I had an exchange with a gentleman just this morning who shared some sorrow and some loss from a family member who passed away, but those are the kind of relationships we develop with people, and we've done so over literally decades. And it's just kind of cool because most businesses, they don't get to get that personal, I guess, with people, but that's probably my favorite thing, is just all the relationships, the friendships that we have made with all kinds of different people over the years.
The City of Rialto's upgraded permitting center is a seamless, user-friendly experience for permit applications, business license requests, and secure online payments. Designed for efficiency, transparency, and convenience, this platform is built to service residents, contractors, and city staff alike. Everything you need all in one place. Check out this introduction video to the new online permit center coming June 2nd.
Welcome to Civic Access, the online customer access portal for the City of Rialto. This introduction will navigate you through the various online services and functions offered by the City of Rialto. As a guest visiting the site, you will be able to pay invoices, search for records, and view scheduled inspections. If you are a registered user, you will have access to see more information about your applications and records, and even apply for certain development applications. To log in, click Login or Register in the top right corner of the page, or with the tile in the center of the screen. If you have not registered for Civic Access, please create an account prior to logging in. After successfully logging in, you will see additional tabs and functionality. The first tab is the Home page. This will bring you back to the main page again from wherever you are in the website. The next tab is the Apply tab. This is where you can apply for available online permit, plan, and business license applications. After clicking Apply, you will be automatically redirected to the city's decision engine, which is a guided application to help you find the correct permit, plan, or business license application to apply for. The next tab is the Dashboard. In the dashboard, you will be able to see the progress of your permit and plan applications that you've submitted to the city. You will also be able to view all of your inspections and their associated statuses. Your dashboard will also show your open invoices. You can make payments by adding them to your cart and making a payment with a credit card. If you have business licenses with the city, they will be listed at the bottom of the dashboard screen. My Work is another way to see all of your associated records in a list view. It is sectioned out into permits or plans, inspections, and invoices. If you applied for a permit or plan at City Hall, you should see the record in this screen. If you have difficulty finding a particular record, you are able to filter and sort your records. There is even an option to export your records into a Microsoft Excel file. Providing the correct email address and contact information on your application is essential to being able to see your records in the online portal. Please contact the city if you are not seeing your applications in the online portal. If you want to see scheduled inspections, click on the Today's Inspections tab. If you would like to see upcoming scheduled inspections or past scheduled inspections, simply change your desired date. The Search Records tab allows you to search and view information available for permit, plan, licenses, and inspections records. You can search with record numbers, keywords, or partial descriptions. Click on the record number to see more details of the record. If you cannot locate the record you are looking for, please contact the city. The last tab is the Help tab, which is where you most likely found this video. Along with this introduction video, there will be other instruction videos and help guides available to you. If you need additional assistance, please contact the city. Now that we have gone over all of the menu options, let's quickly go over the 6 tiles that you see on the home page. These offer you another way to quickly navigate the most frequently visited menu areas of Civic Access. This has been your introduction to Civic Access, the one-stop shop for development and permit application needs. If you need any additional assistance or information with Civic Access, please contact the city. Thanks for watching.
COVID-19 emergency has hit working families hardest. That's why all across the country, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of every American family. For over 50 years, we've been delivering hope and opportunity. Now more than ever, working families need life-changing services, solutions, and stability. Contact your local community action agency today.
To give your garden a boost while helping the planet? The City of Rialto has you covered. Rialto residents and businesses can pick up free mulch and compost, open to the public 24 hours a day. Located at 246 South Willow Avenue, in the south parking lot. Bring your shovel and container to this self-serve station and do your part to keep Rialto green. It's first come, first served. Transform your yard and support sustainability at the same time. For more information, call 909-820-2602 or visit www.rialtoca.gov. Proudly brought to you by the City of Rialto Public Works Department. And let's grow greener together.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
When the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Have you removed objects?
We'll call the meeting to order. City Council, City of Rialto, the acting successor agency to the redevelopment agency, the Rialto Utilities Authority, the Rialto Housing Authority will now come to order. Will the city manager please call the roll?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Joe Baca?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott?
Present.
Councilmember Annie Carrizales?
Present.
Councilmember Carla Perez? Present. Councilmember Edward Montoya?
Present.
City Clerk Barbara McGee is not present. City Treasurer Edward Carrillo?
Present.
City Attorney Eric Bale?
Present.
And City Manager Tanya Williams.
Thank you. All present with the exclusion of the city clerk being absent at this point. So at this point, if everybody could please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance that will be led by our Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Please join me in the pledge to our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah!
Thank you. If you can remain standing, we'll have the invocation by Pastor Javier Reyes from the Calvary Rialto Church.
Let's go ahead and pray. Father, we pray this night, Lord, as this meeting is underway. We pray that, Lord, you would be the one that would lead tonight's meeting. I do pray, first of all, for all the city officials that are here, beginning with Mayor Baca and the rest of the council members and all those that are seated around them, Lord. Pray that they would realize that the responsibilities that they have, no matter how small or how great, Lord, has been entrusted to them by you. And so I pray tonight, dear God, as they make decisions, dear God, Lord, that they would realize that it would be a lasting impact, Lord, for the city of Rialto. Lord, it's going to affect not only people, but growth and, Lord, furthering, Lord, just the city of Rialto's boundaries. Lord, as they're going to discuss numerous resolutions. Dear God, they need wisdom from you and discernment, Lord, in the things that they must make. Lord, that it can affect not only one individual or a whole community, Lord, that it all is important to you. And so I do pray for your favor upon tonight's meeting. Do pray for your leading, Lord, through your Spirit, Lord, as they make these decisions here. Give them clarity of mind, Lord, and that they would not waffle in the decisions they must make. But I do pray that you would be with them, dear God. Thank you, Lord, for, Lord, the responsibilities that they hold. And we ask and pray all these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. And we all say, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Reyes. At this time, we'll begin with the report from our city attorney on closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. There were 4 items listed on your closed session agenda for this evening. The first was a conference with legal counsel with regard to initiation of litigation. Council voted unanimously to initiate a receivership action with regard to property located at 134 Willow Avenue, Rialto, California. Your second item was a conference with your real property negotiator. You did have a briefing from your real property negotiator and discussion, but there was no other reportable action on that item. Item 3, which was a conference with legal counsel with regard to one item of anticipated litigation, was continued over by unanimous vote of the City Council to your first meeting in February. The last item was a conference with legal counsel with regard to 2 items of existing litigation. You had a briefing and gave direction to your special counsel for both of the listed cases. There's no other reportable action on that item. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move into oral communications, but before we do, I'd just like to say welcome to all of the labor family members that are here to today's council meeting. With that, I'll call on our city clerk to mention any individuals that would like to speak under oral communications.
Christina Ramirez.
Good evening, Mayor Baca and members of the council. I am here representing Ms. Cristina Ramirez, here with me present, property owner of 157 South Sycamore in Rialto. We wanted to take this opportunity to bring to your attention issues that we are having with this property and seeking your support to find a reasonable solution or resolution to our issues. Ms. Ramirez, with her husband, purchased this property in 2023 under false pretense. It was presented to her as a 3-unit property. When she toured it and purchased it, there was tenants there, 3 separate entities. They continued to be the renters once she purchased the property. However, 3 months into ownership, one of the tenants requested an upgrade to one of the facilities. She denied it and told her that at that time it wasn't a reasonable request, and as a consequence, that tenant reported Ms. Ramirez to the city as an illegal unit that she was renting. Unbeknownst to Ms. Cristina, sure enough, there was plenty of issues with that property, to the extent that there wasn't even a 2nd or 3rd unit recorded with the city. Again, she was sold this property under false pretense. Regardless, she complied with the city, seized all renters, removed all rentals to seek a resolution and make the property compliant. Once she contacted the city, they informed her that there was no more records of the blueprints, and was then forwarded to the county to secure blueprints so that she can secure permits. Went to the county, and the county told her that those records were destroyed 2 years prior to her purchasing that property, and therefore no more access to these records. She then secured an engineer and an architect to develop these blueprints, because the city told her you need blueprints before we can start processing any type of permits for these properties. She now has the blueprints. She's been working with the city for these permits. However, we've reached the point where the city is now telling her that she needs to demolish more than 50% of the property, because the solutions that the architect and the engineer are providing are not acceptable to the city. We have letters from the engineers and the construction firm and the architects providing alternate solutions to some of the problems with the property. However, the city continues to state to her that she needs to demolish. So we're here today to bring this to your attention and seek your support in encouraging the city to not be so rigid and find alternate solutions other than demolishing. Again, she hasn't been receiving rent for over a year. She bought it under false pretense, so we're just asking for a little bit of consideration and support from the council to help resolve this issue.
Well, thank you very much for bringing it to our attention, and our community director, Christina Taylor, will get together with you and see, hopefully we can come up with some form of a resolution for this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
I have someone want to speak on the consent calendar, but everything else would be for tabs.
All right. Seeing that there's no other individuals that would like to speak under oral communications, we'll move on to the consent items. The consent.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Under the category of City Council considering moving or continuing items, I would like to request tonight that tab number 2 be, which is the proposed approval of water or wastewater, that it be split into 2 separate items, one being water, the other one being wastewater. And I will be recusing myself on the water item, as I became aware in the last committee meeting we had that I am the only resident and property owner that resides in the Rialto Water Service territory. Therefore, as to not put off an appearance of being biased or self-serving, I would abstain on this item per recommendation of the city attorney this morning, and let the council do its deliberation and make a decision. I will participate in the wastewater rate discussion.
Okay, thank you. With that, Mayor Pro Tem has recused himself from tab 2 under the item of water, but he will participate in the wastewater aspect of it, right?
Correct.
With any other objections? If not, then I'd like to
Well,
continue.
Mayor, he also asked if we can split the item into 2 items. Are we able to do that?
Yes, you're able to do that. You can hold the discussion on the water item, and staff can give any presentation. You can ask any questions about it, and then you can take a vote. Mayor Pro Tem will, of course, have to remove himself from the dais during that discussion. Once you finish that, then you can come back, and you can have your presentation questions on the wastewater subject.
Okay, thank you. With clarification from the attorney, any objections to that? Seeing none, then, what we'll do then is move on to the consent item. Any consent item may be removed at any time from any member of the council or member of the public that wishes to address that. We have a member from the...
Yeah, they want to speak on F2. Is Sophie here? No?
Seeing that there's no one, and we called the individual that wanted to address F2 on the consent item. Seeing none, do I hear a motion to approve the consent item?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, seconded by Andy Caraceres. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, consent item is approved. Now we'll move in to tab 1.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I'm Daniel Casey, Community Development Manager. I'll be giving the presentation on tab 1 tonight. This project is entitled the Locust Gateway Development Project, and the applicant is IV5 Locust Gateway Logistics Center, LLC. I'm going to start here on the first slide, just going over some of the background of the project, beginning with its location. You can see an aerial image here where I've drawn a red boundary around the project site. It is comprised of approximately 38.89 gross acres of land located at the southwest corner of Locust Avenue and Lowell Street. This property is within the Rialto Airport specific plan, and within the specific plan it has a land use designation of general manufacturing. As you can see, the site is currently vacant, just covered by some natural grasses and shrubs. And then the surrounding area is an already established industrial area. On all 4 sides, you have existing industrial developments. And so what the applicant proposes to do is to construct a 664,859 square foot industrial warehouse building on the site. And in addition, they'll install associated paving, landscaping, fencing, lighting, and drainage improvements. I want to note that industrial warehouse is an allowable use in the general manufacturing land use district. The building that is before you tonight does not currently have a tenant identified, but it will be able to accommodate various storage and distribution uses. And just moving on to the next slide here, this shows you the site layout. As you can see, the building will be placed on the west side of the property. Then there will be truck courts immediately adjacent to the east side of the building, and then also at the northeast corner of the site, closer to the intersection of Locust Avenue and Lowell Street. The truck courts will be enclosed by concrete screen walls so that none of the views of any of the trucks, trailers, or activities within the truck court will be visible from the public right-of-way. Within those truck courts, they will accommodate the parking of up to 480 truck trailers. And moving on, there will also be passenger vehicle parking areas on the north, south, and west sides of the building. Those parking areas will be able to accommodate 365 passenger vehicles. And that exceeds the minimum amount of parking required in the general manufacturing land use district. Additionally, you can see the green on the site layout here. That indicates all the landscape planters that will be installed. They'll be installed around the street frontages, the perimeter of the site, also the perimeter of the building, and then throughout the parking areas. The applicant will also install 5 new driveways that are indicated on the map there with the red arrows. There will be 3 driveways on the north side of the property connected to Lowell Street, and then 1 driveway on the east end connected to Locust Avenue. And there will be a 5th driveway on the west side, the left side of the map there, that's connected to a private street, Lake Padden Lane. That particular driveway would be for emergency vehicles only. while the other 4 driveways would be for passenger vehicles and trucks coming in and out of the site. Next slide, this is the floor plan. The applicant proposes that 657,146 square feet of the building would be dedicated to storage space. The remaining approximately 7,700 square feet will be used for office space. The offices could be potentially located at any 4 corners of the building. That will ultimately be determined by the tenant. Additionally, the building will have 82 loading docks, dock doors on the east side of the building. Next slide, moving into the architectural exterior design. The image you're seeing here, this is the north elevation of the building. So this is as we would see it from Lowell Street if we were looking south. The building will feature significant wall plane articulation as required by the city's design guidelines. That includes horizontal articulation, meaning 3-foot offsets, approximately every 100 linear feet, just to help break up expanses of wall planes, and then also height variations. The building's height will range from 42.5 feet up to 50 feet from the finished floor. This building's construction will be of concrete tilt-up walls. It'll be painted in a palette of 5 different colors, various gray tones, white, and then a couple of blue accent colors. The exterior of the building will also feature stone accents, composite wood siding, and then some standard architectural features, including panel reveals, metal eyebrow accents, and glass glazing on all 4 sides of the building. Now this next slide, this shows you a 3D rendering of what the site would look like upon completion of construction. So this angle is if we're looking southwest above kind of Lowell Street there. So we can see the truck court with the landscaping along the street frontage, the screen walls that will screen the views of the truck court activities, and then we can see the various architectural features on the building. So kind of gone over the details of the building and what their actual development proposal is. Now kind of move on to some of the other items of the project. There is a tentative parcel map that has been filed with this project. Though the site is comprised of 1 parcel of land, that's not something we typically see when we have 1 parcel of land. However, there were some past maps on this property that kind of complicated the legal description. And so to resolve the underlying past recordings and kind of simplify the legal description, in addition to the development applications, the applicant filed a tentative parcel map as well. So in addition to resolving the issues with the legal description, the tentative parcel map will also facilitate the necessary street dedication along the project frontage. Once the street dedication is complete, the final parcel size would be 38.78 net acres in size, which exceeds the minimum parcel size required by the general manufacturing land use district. Moving on to some of the traffic analysis that was conducted for this project. There was a transportation impact study that was prepared for this project. That study identified that the project, or estimates that the project will generate up to 1,138 daily vehicle trips. Of those, 455 would be truck trips. The peak hour trips were identified at 113 trips in the AM peak hour and 120 trips in the PM peak hour. Then that trip generation was incorporated into the analysis, which looked at 12 local intersections and what the impacts of the additional trips would be on those intersections. The study identified infrastructure deficiencies at 3 intersections, Locust Avenue and Casa Grande Drive, and then Locust and Lowell Street, and then Locust and Casmalia Street. Then the study makes recommendations on how to get those intersections to an acceptable level of service. Those recommendations, the first one includes the installation of a new traffic signal at the intersection of Locust Avenue and Casa Grande Drive, which I will improvement as a part of the Locust Avenue roadway improvement project. That signal is planned to be installed around the 3rd quarter of this year. So that signal would be installed and operational long before this building would be completed with construction or operational. Then the second recommendation in the study was to extend the eastbound left turn pocket of on Casmalia Street at the intersection of Locust Avenue and Casmalia Street There's a raised median there currently that has a turn pocket with a depth of approximately 150 feet. The study recommends that that pocket be expanded to 250 feet to allow more cars to queue in the turn pocket and to avoid them backing into the through travel lanes. And then the remaining recommendations were to restripe Lowell Street. This is in front of the project, so that vehicles traveling eastbound on Lowell will have both a dedicated left turn lane and a dedicated right turn lane, just again to help improve efficiency at that intersection. And then the last improvement is to restripe or add a northbound left turn lane at the intersection of Lowell and Locust Avenue. This would be a dedicated left turn lane to allow vehicles to turn to head west on Lowell towards the project site. So then the traffic impact study and the city's adopted traffic guidelines determined that fair share mitigation fees constitute adequate mitigation for these recommended improvements. And the study identified the project's fair share at about $365,000. Those fees would need to be paid prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. This next slide, I want to cover that there is a development agreement that is before the council tonight for this project. That development agreement includes a $4 million monetary contribution that the applicant would make to the city of Rialto. That $4 million, the staff's identified some needs that could potentially go to that include funding as I mentioned, the Locust Avenue roadway improvement project. Also some of those additional improvements I had mentioned as far as the left turn pocket expansion, but also could go towards commercial vehicle enforcement and other traffic and public safety needs in the city. But that said, the funds will be able to be used at the sole discretion of the city council. In exchange for that $4 million contribution, the city would vest the project entitlements for a 5-year period, and then also lock the development impact fees at the current rates as of the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Now I'll move on to the environmental analysis that was prepared. There was an environmental impact report that was prepared by Kimley Horn and Associates for this project. The environmental impact report identified significant and unavoidable impacts to greenhouse gas emissions. The city contracted with Echo Tierra Consulting to conduct a peer review on behalf of the city, peer review of the EIR on behalf of the city. That EIR, there was a notice of preparation that was first sent out, circulated to the public from June 27th of 2024 to July 26th of 2024. There were a few comment letters that were received during that time, and then those comment letters were addressed in the draft environmental impact report that was then circulated for public review from September 5th of 2025 to October 20th, 2025. During that 45-day public review period for the draft EIR, the city received 8 comment letters. 5 of those comment letters were actually letters of support for the project. There was 2 other letters that since have been withdrawn. And then the last letter was a general letter that requested that there be a condition of approval that requires all the truck traffic to utilize Locust Avenue to and from the site, which I will note that is a standard condition of approval that is incorporated into the resolutions before the council tonight. So then those comment letters were put into the final environmental impact report that was dated December 2025. So the environmental review that's been conducted for this site has been completed in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act. Now, I do want to note that the resolution for the environmental impact report that's before the council tonight, it does include a statement of overriding considerations, and these items are the benefits that would outweigh the potential impacts from greenhouse gas emissions. And I've kind of summarized those benefits here for you, and I'll go through them. The project tonight is, its benefits that would outweigh those impacts are that the project is consistent with the goals and objectives of the general plan and the Rialto Airport specific plan. As I mentioned, this is an allowable use in that area. The project will develop a vacant and underutilized site with the highest and best use allowed in the general manufacturing land use district. The project will provide 100% of its energy load from on-site renewable energy generation. The project will also create employment generating opportunities in both temporary and permanent jobs. It's estimated that this project would generate up to 550 permanent jobs. The project will also provide an increase in tax revenue in the forms of increased property tax, business license tax, sales tax, and utility users tax. The project will also attract related businesses, fostering long-term economic growth in the city of Rialto. And it will also improve the efficiency of regional and national goods movement. And then lastly, as we already discussed, there was also the $4 million monetary contribution as a part of the development agreement. One more thing I do want to note is that I discussed this with the applicant in advance of the meeting. The project will also have three fully executed labor agreements with various labor union groups. And moving on here to the recommendation, on December 17th of 2025, this project went before the Planning Commission. That they voted 7-0 at their meeting to forward a recommendation to the City Council to approve the project. And with that, both staff and the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council adopt the resolutions that would certify the environmental impact report, approve the tentative parcel map, the conditional development permit, and the precise plan of design, and then introduce the first reading of the ordinance approving the development agreement. And that concludes my presentation. The applicant and their team's also in the audience if there's any questions for staff or the applicant.
Are there any questions? Not. I'm glad that you mentioned community, a labor agreement. I wanted to make sure that it did have a labor agreement, and you indicated that it would, yes.
This is a public hearing, and we need to open it up to the public first before we speak.
All righty, we'll open it up to the public. Any member from the public wishes to address it? Are there any members that signed up?
Sorry. Julie? Yes, she's coming up. Julie Liu.
All right, good evening, City of Rialto, Mayor Joe Baca, and City Council members. My name is Julie Liu, and I am a representative with the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters. And we are here, among all of our labor organizations, to express our strong support for this project. We appreciate the developer for committing to working with contractors who hire locally and utilize apprentices from state-certified apprenticeship programs. These commitments ensure that high-quality, well-trained local workers will benefit directly from this project. I also believe this project will provide meaningful environmental and economic benefits to our community. By implementing protocols that protect worker health and safety and incorporating appropriate environmental mitigation measures, the developer is taking responsible steps to reduce impacts while supporting good jobs and local investments. We really hope that you guys consider improving this project, and we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any others?
Luis Lopez.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, staff, community. My name is Luis Lopez. I'm a business agent for the Ironworkers Local 433. And I want to emphasize that projects like this, every job is important. I've been hearing a lot lately that these are temporary jobs. They're not. It's as if you sent your child to college and they had to do an internship. This is what this is like. It's on-the-job training. Our apprentices need these jobs, And it's these jobs that also are important to many of us, our trades. It makes it able for us to, when men and women like myself did 2 tours in the Marine Corps, come back from honorably serving their country. And I know I've been there. I didn't know where I was going to land, what was I going to do, plus, you know, all the other stuff going on from being in the combat zone. And the trades were there. You know, we work with organizations such as Helmets to Hard Hats. I also sit on the Workforce Development Board, so I work with the veteran agencies there, and also some of our community organizations that help us also capture some of the troubled youth, and along with the probation departments. Many times I get calls from probation officers say, hey, I got this candidate that is doing everything that we're asking them to do, and they're ready to make the next move and be a productive member of society, and so that they don't have to return to crime or whatever they were doing to get on probation. It also it helps us in many different just different areas in the community, and I love that part of my job, is seeing jobs like this change people's lives for the better. You know, it's like anybody that has their is my time up? Okay. Anybody that sends their kids to college, when they get that degree, whether it's a bachelor's, master's, that child should be getting good wages and benefits. They took the time to go to college. Our apprenticeships are anywhere from 4 years to 5 years, and they're state accredited. They train our men and women to be a productive, skilled and trained, whether it's a carpenter, whether it's an iron worker, whether it's an electrician, whether it's a laborer, skilled and trained, accredited by the state. So, and their credits that they earn, some of them are transferable traditional college credits. So when we start them out at anywhere from $25 to $30 an hour, and we just take them in, and we pay for our own apprenticeship programs, it's a win-win situation. And a lot of these folks, as you see behind me, every one of them carry a story, you know, they're just grateful that they had the opportunity to join the union, get into an apprenticeship program because there were jobs available. We need jobs available. This is a partnership with the community, with stakeholders, to help our local residents to strive, buy homes, raise a family. With that, I ask that the City Council adhere to the Planning Commission recommendations and approve this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Next.
Robert Ramos.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Robert Ramos, and I belong to the Iron Workers of Local 416, business agent for over 30 years. I'm here to express on behalf of my local to support this project tonight. Building a project such as this creates jobs and builds a stronger and better community from day one. Pretty much like all my brothers and sisters here already stated, that local hire is key for the economic growth of Rialto. The developer has made a commitment to hire from this pool, local hire, from apprentices to formerly incarcerated to veterans. That's a big commitment. So today I ask for a yes vote on this project, and hopefully we move this project along. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
Next speaker you have is Amy Smith. Amy Smith.
Hi, good evening, Council. I don't know how I'm going to follow that up, but that was amazing. My name is Amy Smith, and I'm a representative of CARE California, and we are also here to support this project and to ask for your yes votes tonight. The commitments that this developer has made ensures that our local residents are going to benefit from this project from day one. the communities are going to be strengthened, and growth will surely come and is a good sign of development and the future of not only Rialto, but Southern California and California as a whole. We are all in this together, and Rialto is a great step in pushing California to what it deserves, what our country deserves. In this time of economic uncertainty and widespread hardships, this development is a guarantee to be positive for the city of Rialto and something that we should all be welcoming and embracing to strengthen and work for economic growth that we all deserve. We support this project and the many benefits that are going to come with it, and we ask for your yes votes tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amy.
Cesar Lamas.
Good evening, everybody. City Council, Mayor. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. Come with not much to say. Everybody's kind of really beat me to the punch to say what I had to say. But just like my brother from the Ironworkers was saying, everybody has their own story, you know. I did like 2 months in community college and I couldn't find a path. I said, I'm not doing it anymore. The Lapers opened up the opportunity for me to start my career. Since this day, it's helped me take care of my parents. My parents no longer work. They retired before they're allowed to retire. Don't ask me how they did it. My younger brothers, they're going through that whole process of growing up, having kind of what we didn't get to have growing up. It's like a bittersweet moment too, in that aspect of where opportunities like this, it makes me kind of want to tell my brothers, like, hey, you know what? There's these opportunities. You could take whichever route, and both routes are gonna definitely take you. Whether you take education, obviously, I push that on them more, but the unions, they take care of you. They provide you health care, benefits, you know, pension. All the unions kind of do. They really change your life. And that's what the Laborers did for me. And projects like this gave me that opportunity to show that change. Everybody in my family started asking me, like, oh, ¿qué haces? You know, what are you doing? All my friends started asking me, hey, how do we join? You know, the doors open up. And that kind of really shows the community that that's kind of the route to take. The apprenticeship program puts you through the trenches. It shows you what it is to be out there earning your wage. And that's actually a really, really good like work ethic that it develops after time. But we come in full approval for the project, and hopefully you guys can push it too. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Can we have Larry Bustos?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and staff and City Council. My name is Larry Bustos, and I am a 20-year member of the Laborers International Union in North America. I'm here tonight to speak in support of this project and its developer. This good and responsible developer has made a choice to use the very best craftsmen in the industry, and that also builds to the highest standard. Along with that, projects like this will keep our local members working close to home with the ability to continue to make strong wages with good benefits to support their families. These tough economic times affects all of us, and this is exactly why we need these types of projects. These projects invest in the local community and deliver hundreds of high-quality union construction jobs that provide good wages with health benefits and a pension. This opportunity is right here in our community, and our local and skilled trained union members, like those you see standing behind me tonight, stand ready to build it. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Next.
John Sislitz. And after John, we have Joseph. That's your last speaker.
Hi, my name is John Sisley. I represent all the union plumbers, pipe fitters, and refrigeration for San Bernardino, Riverside County. I'm also a delegate to the Building Trades Commission and the Inland Empire Labor Council. I grew up in Rialto. When I was a boy, I spent my time catching lizards in the orange groves and the grape vineyards all around here. And I think there was 38,000 people in the city at that time. So through the years, I watched it grow. And as any city grows, right, you kind of look at it and you're in favor of some of it, you're not in favor of some of it, but progress comes and things go forward. It's my pleasure to be representing a project like this tonight in my hometown that's going to provide sustainable wages and benefits for local community members, right? I find it ironic that most of the folks that oppose warehouses are probably at home right now either looking at something online or purchasing something online, supporting the warehouse and logistics industry, right? And I don't think that online purchasing is going to go away, despite what we do in Rialto. I think a better way of looking at this is that every warehouse built is an opportunity. And it's real easy to come here and complain about development. That's an easy thing. It's more difficult to go out and organize a warehouse, to influence local government and legislation, to put in place tiered salary setups based on seniority, higher pay for supervisors, representation for workers inside of warehouses. Those are more difficult things to do, but imagine what we do when we do that, right? Either we're too expensive for them to afford to build the warehouse and they stop, or the community comes up. It's kind of a win-win situation, right? And things like moratoriums kind of take it out of the department hands, right? You have a planning commission, you have a city council, you already have a system to approve or disapprove of jobs, right? So I think each one of these projects is an individual, right? And one with a labor agreement on this one, it's a good project. It's good for the city and it's good for the people here. I'd encourage you to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John.
Yes, Joseph. And that's your last speaker that has put in the records request. I'm sorry, not a speaking request. Hey, I'm back in my office. But I'm here now.
Good evening, council members. My name is Joseph Quesada. I'm a proud representative and member of the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 783. We are here tonight in strong support of Broxville's Properties Project. This project represents responsible investments into our community. Owners of privately funded projects can choose to either include the community or not. And we are happy to say that they have included the local workforce. This project brings major public benefits, good paying jobs, infrastructure upgrades, and long-term economic opportunities for Rialto. When private developers step up like this, they don't just build warehouses, they build roads, utilities, and services that benefit the border communities. This growth helps us move forward. We ask you to approve this project. Let's bring these jobs, this infrastructure, and this private investment to Rialto. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joseph. And I believe that concludes the last individual that indicated that they wanted to speak on this particular item, unless there's someone else that did not file their paperwork to speak. We can move to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, seconded by Carla Perez. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Now we'll move it on to the council's questions, and I'll start first of all. As I stated before, I'm glad that it did have a labor agreement. I think that's very important. It does have some community benefit agreements too as well, and I think that's very much good. The thing that I look at when I look at what we might suggest or do because of the traffic congestion in that area, and this is a suggestion coming from me, and hopefully that we can look at the federal government in trying to have an exit off of Locust that would create a truck route versus having to come in either through Ayala or through Elder as a possibility, and that would alleviate a lot of the traffic. I know that you presented on your maps, coming out of Locust to Camellia, But we should also look at the possibility of creating, because I actually traveled it the other day just to see how far one exit was from the other exit, and actually an exit could be created in that area as well. And that we should look at the possibility that would make it a lot easier for people to get to and from their jobs, if it's creating the new jobs, the 550 jobs that could be created, or for the laborers that are going to be doing, or the building trades, or the iron workers that are going to be doing the work, or IBEW, or whomever the case may be, they would be able to get to and from. I know it takes a while. We were able to do that off of Pepper, and there's no reason why we can't request the same thing here as well. That's just a suggestion that I have in reference to what needs to be done. Because I did take a trip there. And then my question is that would we have sweepers that would be going through that area to clean it up once it's built, or what, how would that be done? Or would that be a contract that would be done with Burtech, or what? Do you know, Daniel?
Yeah, the applicant, their contractor, will certainly have to clean the site upon completion of the development to the city standards, and then afterwards, then there would be ongoing maintenance by the city's street sweeping.
Yeah, and then for the roads improvement, I like to, hopefully that the developer will look to continue to repair the roads as well in that area. Is that part of the agreement, that they would continue to repair the roads, or would that responsibility then fall on the city?
The applicant will be repairing Lowell along their entire front, which is the entire length of Lowell Street, and then also their frontage of Locust Avenue. So those streets will be fully repaired, resurfaced as a part of this project along the frontage, and then they'll be paying development impact fees that'll be going towards the ongoing maintenance.
Okay, and then just one other suggestion that I have, and this is in reference to the part of the community benefit, the $4 million that will be allocated to the city of Rialto to do at their discretion. I'd like to hopefully bring it back for the city council members to actually come back with a recommendation as to where that money can be spent or should be spent on particular projects that maybe that we may want to have, versus going into the general fund and then later on deciding. Is that a possibility too as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this way it gives all of us an opportunity to give input in terms of where we feel that money should be spent, instead of just sitting there. Okay, I'll open it up for additional questions. Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Yeah, I have several questions. First off, I want to welcome labor here tonight. We really appreciate you supporting the growth of Rialto and good paying jobs in Rialto. So again, thank you for being here. I have several questions. One is related to the project fair share amount of $364,699. I see one of the items is this signal at Locust and Casa Grande.
Yes.
But I believe in reality that project is already funded by another development across the street. Is that not correct?
That's correct. There has been funding provided from other projects. Yes.
So why would we list that as one of the items that this money is funding when it's really not? The other projects have not fully funded that signal, so this project would fund its fair share of trips through that intersection. Well, I'd like you to take a better look at that, because I believe we voted for the project across the street to fully fund that intersection.
Okay.
Okay? Lastly, does this money go into the development impact fee fund?
The development agreement monies, or the...
This $364,000.
It'll be collected, yes, as part of the development impact fees, yes.
Okay, I as part of the motion that I'm going to make to approve this project, I'd like to condition that that money be used specifically for these items.
Okay.
That it not go into the development impact account and then disappear a year or two down the road, and then these items never get done. Because all of these items are very important to this project. The striping, the turn pocket, et cetera. It's extremely important. I also like Mayor Baca's idea of the Locust Avenue off-ramp. In fact, we had been toying with that for a while, so I'd like to revisit that and see if we possibly can make that happen. As to the $4 million, Mr. Mayor, I agree that the council needs to decide how to spend it rather than to dump it into the general fund and watch it go into Neverland. Amen. But again, as part of my motion tonight, I'd like to make a motion that $1 million of it go to the Rialto Police Department for its crime center and for traffic and truck enforcement in that area. The other $3 million, if council members have an idea, we can certainly decide tonight if we choose what to do with that money. And I know,
Soccer, recreation.
I know there's a lot of projects.
But I want to give everybody an opportunity.
The mayor and Carla just gave $7 million to soccer and parks last meeting.
It needs a lot more, you know.
But it does. But we also need money on our roads. For instance, Cactus Avenue, the county paved their portion of Cactus below the 210 freeway, and it made our portion look even worse. So from the 210, actually I think it's maybe Walnut, all the way down to Baseline is really in bad shape. In fact, it's in bad shape all the way down to maybe Merrill.
And I'll second your motion.
Thank you. And that's the only items I have. But I want to make sure that when we condition projects with money, that money gets used for what it's supposed to be used for, not go into Neverland.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor that, I don't know, as the city attorney then can give us some guidelines on this, because this is, we have not taken action on the actual item itself, but indicated that $1 million would be put aside for public safety going to the police department, and then the $3 million can be decided by the council members that are here. If they already have an idea, they can do it, and if not, we could bring it back at another time. I just wanted to give people an opportunity to think about projects that maybe they wanted to do or think that are important for the city, and this way I'd get everybody involved in part of the process versus me saying where it all should go, because I could spend all $4 million on different projects that I feel need to go within the city of Rialto. But $1 million's already been gone. Well, we'll be gone if we vote on it.
Mayor, the motion that I heard only pertained to $1 million of that. You can vote on that now. I would suggest that you incorporate that motion as part of your overall motion when you get to approving the project. I know there hasn't been a motion to approve the project yet.
Right.
I would just hold that in reserve and then add it in when you.
If the second withdraws their motion and the motioner withdraws that until that point, we could go ahead and do that?
Well, I'm happy to make the motion now unless, I think maybe Mr.
Unless there's
Montoya
somebody
wanted
else
to
wants to
speak.
discuss it.
Yeah, he me.
So the question I had was regarding the fair share, 364,000. It was already answered. It was asked and answered by Daniel. But I would like to welcome Labor's Union, pipe fitters, welders, and the Carpenters Union. I really appreciate what you guys are doing for veterans, our troubled youth. I can really appreciate that. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I hope we can get this done.
Okay, with that, I think everybody here welcomes, the labor that is here tonight and representing and standing up for what you feel is very important, that helps not only improve the jobs, but security and the opportunities that it gives to many of the employees or individuals that go through, whether it's an apprenticeship or a full-time job as laborers, and we know the benefits that labor does provide. So I think that we all speak in favor of that right here. So hearing that there's no other comments, I'd like to have a motion on the floor with the amendment.
Motion to approve Resolution 8455, approving an environmental impact report, environmental assessment review number 2023-0051/State Clearinghouse number 2024-061274. approving Resolution 8456, approving tentative parcel map number 2023-006, TMP 20809. Resolution number 8457, conditional development permit 2023-0032. Resolution number 8458, approving precise plan of design number 2023-0041. Ordinance number 1708, approving development agreement number 2024-002. A development agreement between the City of Rialto and IV5 Locust Gateway Logistics Center LLC to memorialize certain benefits and terms related to the development of a 664,859 square foot industrial warehouse building on site.
With the amendment of?
With the amendment of $1 million of community benefit money going to public safety for the purpose of truck enforcement and/or crime center.
And $3 million too, for the council to decide.
And the other $3 million for the council to decide at their convenience.
Second.
Additionally, the community, the $364,699 as designated as project fair share be specifically used for the items with the exception of Locust and Casmelia Drive signalization, be specifically used for those items and held by the Finance Department until such time as those funds are used.
Okay, motion's been made by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, seconded by the mayor. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Congratulations.
Well, I need to do a roll call for the ordinance. Roll call for the ordinance. For the ordinance, may I have Mayor Pro Tem Scott?
Aye.
Councilmember Baca?
Aye.
Councilmember Caracellos?
Aye.
Councilmember Perez?
Aye.
Councilmember Matoya?
Aye. Thank you. Next, we'll move into item number 2. This is the item where the...
Mr. Mayor, as a reminder, I will be abstaining on the water portion of this item due to a conflict of interest as I own a residence and live in that residence, which is located within the Rialto Water Services area, and as a fact that I am the only city council member that lives in the Rialto Water Service area.
And you'll come back and vote on the wastewater, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so, Mayor, so what'll happen is if the city manager has any staff that are making a staff report or answering questions to council, can just limit those to just the water right now. No information about the wastewater will be discussed at this point, and then we'll come back and do all the wastewater stuff.
Okay. Thank you. Yats?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. My name is Sachin Chawla, Director of Utilities. And the staff heard the concern and clarification that the council needed at the last meeting. And under the leadership and guidance of the city manager, the staff worked with our consultants, our partners, to come up with a new recommendation for the council, which is lower than the Prop 280 notice rates that were proposed last time. So here we request the City Council and Rialto Utility Authority to continue deliberation and consider approval of the revised water and wastewater rates. As suggested, we'll go with the water presentation first, and that will be done by Sanjay Gaur.
Thank you, Sachin. Honorary Mayor, City Council, staff, and public, it's my pleasure to be here today to talk about this important matter about the water rate study first. As mentioned, we heard your concerns about the water rates. We worked diligently with staff and tried to come up with different approaches, and I believe we did do that. First thing is the Prop 218 notice is the maximum amount of rates. We are recommending lower. Staff has identified $8.65 million of additional money to help ease the rate increase, so that's a substantial savings for the customers. In addition, we also looked at grants that we've applied to, and we feel very confident that we'll receive those grants. So we took those into account too in our analysis. Based on that information, we're able to have an 8% increase in water instead of the 23, and for wastewater, we're able to do 3% instead of 5. The proposed impact with those two together will be $7.31. So this is the financial plan associated with water. We're funding those critical CIP. We're getting grant fundings associated with that. By doing an 8% increase each year, we're showing you the average dollar increase for those customers. As you can see, they range from $5 to a little bit more than $4 each month. It's the first few years is 8%, then followed by 6 and 6. What that means to our customers is that the bill will go from $65 to $70.51. This is a survey of neighboring providers that you see over here. It should be note that West Valley and Jurupa do receive significant amount of property tax. West Valley received $4.4 million. It is an ad valorem property tax, so it's based on the value of the property when they purchase it. So it gets a bit challenging to try to determine how much that is per customer, but roughly it's around $10 or $15 estimated. So if we added that $10 or $15 to West Valley, you could see that West Valley's rates would be comparable to Rialto's. So that's it for water. I'm going to pause here because we're going to talk about wastewater next.
Now you should have any questions for staff about the water rates and any deliberation and then a vote on the water rates.
Staff or city council?
Staff, if council has questions for staff, yes.
Okay.
But you have an oral that wanted to
Okay,
speak.
we have someone that would like to address that from the
Yes,
community, oral
Ben,
community.
Ben Pratt.
Ben?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How you doing? My name is Ben Pratt. I currently serve as the Vice President of IBW Local 477, representing the electricians and power professionals here in San Bernardino, Inyo, and Mono counties. I'm here tonight to speak in favor of these rate increases. I know that that can be a very unpopular thing to be in favor of, but I know there's a lot of experience in this room that informs us that not investing in infrastructure can be catastrophic in the long run and eventually way more expensive. In addition to that, bringing our water infrastructure to state-of-the-art creates efficiency, which is in the short term and long term beneficial to ratepayers. Additionally, through our lens at the IBEW, what this does is it creates, skilled and trained jobs for our members, and more importantly than that, it creates apprenticeship opportunities. The more local jobs that we have available for our journey workers, that creates more apprenticeship opportunities and outreach opportunities for us to do with our veterans, formerly incarcerated populations, and outreach at the high school level. So although it is an immediate inconvenience to the ratepayers, it's long-term savings and a long-term investment in the community. Thanks so much, appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben.
And also, Mayor and council members, I'd just like to, which I passed out to you earlier, a letter of support from Albert Dutray from the Inland Empire Building Trade. They was in support of increasing the rates.
Okay.
So I want to record that for the record.
Thank you. Any other?
No.
Hearing none? Okay.
I'd like to speak.
Yes.
I'll turn in a card later, right now after this. My name is Thomas Ruiz. I'm a representative with the Laborers International Union North America. I want to thank you for
having us speak on this tonight. Before I became a representative for the Labor's Union, I was doing a lot of research, mostly tracking water infrastructure throughout the country, throughout the state. And water infrastructure is probably the most expensive, but it's hard to raise the revenue in order to do the needed improvements that you need in order to convey water. And most of your power that is used throughout the country is used to actually move water, right? And so we're in favor of the rate increases as well, because we know that if you don't invest into your infrastructure, you're only kicking the can down the road, and eventually you're going to pay twice as much or 3 times as much later on. So with that being said, this is also another opportunity to create good paying jobs and put more members of our community to work, and also allowing folks to get into apprenticeship programs that you all heard tonight. So you guys got a double whammy tonight to get this moving and approved. And I know that right now is very tough on a lot of folks, especially talking about any type of increases to anyone's bills. But sometimes that's why you guys got the big seats, the cushy chairs, because you got to make the tough decisions that are actually going to make the community better. So I hope that we can encourage you to move this rate increase forward, and we'll make our promise to build that infrastructure safely and quality. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other individuals? If not,
This is not a public hearing, so.
no, I'm
No.
just going to
Oh,
ask
okay.
for, either any discussion from any members of the council, or do you want to take a motion to? I'll start it off then, I guess, in reference to, I think we've already kicked the can down once before, and we didn't increase the rates, and we have not increased any kind of rates. I know that we all hate to increase any kind of rates, but if we don't pass this, it's going to cost us a lot more in the long run. And there are projects that need to be done now, and the cost of materials could escalate a lot higher in the future if we don't begin to take action on some of those projects. I want to commend the staff, for coming and looking at this presentation that we had on January the 13th that really had a 20%, I think it was $20? $23? 23%, and we're down now to 8%.
Yeah,
so we really have reduced it quite a lot by looking at additional dollars in revenue, because we took money before, and we took monies out of the general fund, and we never got subsidized for that money. And if we ended up doing the same thing again that we did a couple of years ago, we're not going to retain that money that should stay in the general fund for other projects that we need to improve. And if I can ask, what effects would it have, City Manager, on some of the projects that could be affected if we don't take this rate increase?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So it's a little bit tricky separating out the water from the wastewater, but we do have estimates from our consultant and our utilities team that if the increases are not passed, both on the water and wastewater side, it would require around a $14 to $16 million contribution from the general fund this fiscal year, as well as an additional around $15 million next fiscal year. So it could be, in total, $30 million that we would have to contribute again from the general fund. Now that would likely come out of the general fund reserves, but that's essentially the savings account, right? And that's what we utilize for emergencies, ongoing infrastructure projects such as parks, and potential future public safety investments in infrastructure as well. So there is definitely a trade-off with having to utilize general fund dollars to support the utility.
Especially, we've just had rains, and we need to improve our roads, our potholes that are currently there right now. And this would jeopardize some of the funding that we would need and have to go and dig into our reserves or general funds to make sure that we do. And we know that we have a little storm coming up, and we don't know when other storms are going to come up. But the one thing that I always hear from residents, when are you going to fix our potholes? when are you going to fix our sidewalks? Well, we need the money in the general fund so we can go out and do that. And I think by taking the action that needs to be done tonight, even though it's not very much in terms of dollars, and maybe you can tell us exactly what it would be on the individual, what they would actually end up paying?
So on the water side, Mayor, the dollar side in year one impact would be $5.29. And next year it'll be $5.66, and then following year it'll be less than that, so $4 and so forth.
Right, so it's very minimal in terms of the amount of dollars for the amount of services that we need, because some of these pipes are really outdated, isn't that true? I mean,
Yes, that's correct. Some of them are 50 years old or more.
Yeah, and the corruption that's there, and then if we don't, can you imagine, the contamination of that water? If we don't fix those pipes, and then, people will start complaining, why am I, getting, this quality of water that shouldn't be this way, it should be a lot better. That's why we need to look at the repairs that need to be done and to make sure that we start preparing now for the future as well, without looking at additional costs that could cost us a lot more in the future. Councilmember Ed Montoya?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. I just kind of want to piggyback off a couple of the things that you said. The way that this was pitched last time around, that would have given us 64% in 5 years, 64% increase in 5 years. So I'm really glad that they went back to the drawing board and came down to the 34% over 5 years, because this was already a difficult position to be in. You don't want to raise people's rates. However, we know that the infrastructure really needs to be dealt with, being that this hasn't been a focus for a good amount of time. So, yeah, I agree with everything you said, and plus it'll get some of these men and women to work as well. So,
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? If not, do I hear a motion?
But before we do that, I just have a question for the city attorney. With the two resolutions, how I'm recording, how's the motion and the second recording on which resolution?
So the first action that they will be taking up, the first motion will be to approve Resolution 8446. That pertains to water rates.
8446.
No, one's for, both are for, one is for the city and one is for
One's
RUA.
for city and one's for
Yeah, but
RUA,
both are
that's
for
right.
water and wastewater.
Yeah. We're going to have to go back and split these into two, but they can take an action to approve the water rates, and we'll end up having an 846.
A and B.
A and
I
B.
can do that.
Yes.
I'm just let the record reflect that I will be, for the water rate and the sewer rate, I will make one resolution -A and one resolution -B for the,
Wastewater.
yes.
That's right.
So we'll have two motions then that will be approved then. We'll have one for the increase of the water rate and the other one for the wastewater. Is that okay?
You will, but you're going to end up with, you have to do two resolutions, because you have a RUA one that we have to do also.
Correct.
So you're going to have a RUA 26-01A and 01B.
Yes, I can do that.
And so,
record-
Mayor, the motions that will be before you now are to approve Resolution 846A and Resolution 26-01A.
So who would like to make that motion?
Then, hearing that there's none, I'd like to make the motion that we approve it. That's Resolution 8446A.
Correct?
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
second.
Seconded by Councilmember Edward Montoya. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye?
Aye.
Okay, now we take up the wastewater, right?
But now you have to pass the RUA resolution, which is 26-01A.
Okay, then now I'll make a motion that we pass the RUA Resolution 26-01.
I think Ed has to come back for that one, right?
Not yet. Nope.
No. He's
Okay, a
correct.
motion's been made by me. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Edward Montoya. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Now we'll take on the wastewater, right? Is that correct, City Attorney?
Yes, Mayor, that is correct.
Okay, so we can call him in, but he's already in. Now we'll discuss wastewater.
Thank you, Honorary Mayor, City Council, staff, and public. It's my pleasure to talk about the wastewater rate study. We worked on looking at grant funding associated with the wastewater, updating that. We also took into account additional money to help smooth out the rates. What we're proposing is instead of a 5% increase, is a 3% increase each year. As you can see, that's roughly around $2 and some change a month for a residential customer. We are also suggesting and proposing a $6 million debt issuance in 2027. This shows us the rates over here, where Rialto is going from $67 to $69. Just as a reference point here, the city of Colton hasn't increased its rate since 2017. They are in the anticipation of increasing the rate substantially, and within the 5 years, they'll be in the same ballpark as us in these proposed rates. One of the reasons why Rialto is a bit higher than the average peers is that Rialto's done all the hard work already in the investment in the wastewater treatment plant. So in conclusion, what we're proposing when we combine these two together, the water, wastewater, and also the reduction in the suspending the utility tax, is actually a reduction in customers' bill between $2.40 to $4.01. Staff will continue to look for additional funding for projects and look for alternative source, and we're recommending that we move forward with this. So I'm looking to see if there's any questions I can answer about the wastewater rates.
Are there any questions by any member? Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott?
In the committee meeting, we asked a question about West Valley and including the portion that they get out of the property tax. Was this graph modified to show that, or did we get that number?
West Valley.
West Valley.
That's the water side, right?
That's the water side.
But don't they also get property tax on the wastewater side too? I'm sure they do.
Did we compare West Valley from wastewater?
We did not compare West Valley.
I mean,
Does their money all go in the water side, or does it get split between water and wastewater?
From our understanding, it goes to the water side.
Only the water side?
Yes.
Is that true?
Pardon?
Do you know if that's true?
Don't know.
Can somebody confirm that? I mean, I just think we need to know what that number is, because it's an artificial number for us when we don't include everything, whether it's property tax or the rate fee that goes into the wastewater side. And it makes it look like we're higher than anybody else, but.
So Mayor Pro Tem, on Colton, just to clarify what Sanjay said, we did a thorough analysis on Colton, which is a neighboring city, on the wastewater.
Yeah.
Colton approved increase in rates in 2024. In that year, there was a difference between us, Rialto, and Colton at $34. And by the time it's 2029, the difference between Rialto and Colton wastewater rates is only going to be $5.
$5?
$5 by 2029. But it's not depicted in the graph, but we do have another graph if you want to pull it up.
And that accounts for them upgrading their facility, I assume?
Yes, they're in the process of upgrading the facility and doing all the other work that we've already done.
Okay. Okay, and I just want to say I appreciate staff going through this and adjusting these numbers, and adjusting stuff and actually getting the rates down. That's a little more reasonable, especially for senior citizens and especially for low-income families in our community. because everybody is struggling right now to pay bills. I don't care what bill it is. So I really appreciate all the hard work you guys have done on this.
Can I add something that Mayor Pro Tem just said for our senior citizens? There is a discount that seniors can apply to as well, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. We have, there's no CARE program or low-income housing program, but the city of Rialto offers two programs. One is to the senior citizens and one is for low income. If you qualify for those two criteria, there is 20% each on both the programs, and both programs are mutually exclusive.
So actually, they would be paying less than some of the other individuals that are not senior citizens, is that correct?
Yes, if they have to apply for it, that
Right,
program,
but
correct.
they can apply for it, but they would be paying less. So it's just that those that are listening out there know that seniors that you can apply for a discount, which means then that you'll be paying less than the average person would be paying for water or wastewater.
That's correct.
Do we know how many residents currently participate in that?
I'll have to ask my other staff members do you know?
Maybe.
When we last checked last year, it was about 1,000 residents, but I'll need to check with our finance department to get an updated number.
And there's still money after those 1,000 residents to be able to do that program, correct?
Yes, that is my understanding.
Okay, and the money that funds that program comes from late fees. Is that my correct understanding?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I think we need to do a better job advertising that for senior citizens.
Amen.
Because
Okay.
the mayor and I didn't even know about it, so if we don't know, nobody knows.
And we're younger than the average senior.
Then who?
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to get you one.
Is there any other discussion? If not, do we need a motion to approve the wastewater rate increase?
And Mayor, your motion would be to approve Resolution 8446B. That's the city's resolution to approve the wastewater rates. And then you would need to approve RUA's resolution, which will be 26-01B, and that's for also just the wastewater rates.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept Resolution 8446B and RUA Resolution 26-1B? I'll make the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, motion by Mayor Joe Baca. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Roll call.
Okay, roll call.
For the wastewater, Mayor Baca,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Aye.
Councilmember Caracellas,
Aye.
Carla Perez,
Aye.
Montoya.
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. Any opposition? Hearing none, since we did roll call, and it carries. Well, the next item is tab 3.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council. Yaz Amrani, your Public Works Director. At the last council meeting, we were directed by the council to go back and get a revised proposal from our construction management and inspection proposer, as well as all the other on-call construction management and inspection firms for that portion of the project for Fire Station 201 safety improvements. We did so. We received 3 proposals, and those costs are summarized in Table 1. Based on what we received and deeming all proposers qualified to do this work, we are hereby recommending the award of the contract to Specs Engineering for the amount of $136,929.20. And that concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? We did discuss this thoroughly last time. The only thing that was concerned at that point was going out to bid to make sure that others had an opportunity to bid. Apparently, we've come back with the same individual that was there last time, but we did go out to bid. Any discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott?
It's a reduced amount, though, isn't it?
It is. Their cost was $188,000,
188, correct. So
and
you're
now it's $136,920.
You're at 136, okay.
Even better.
I appreciate, again, the work on that, but I just got to reiterate my comments from the last meeting that 20% construction services on a project is extremely excessive, especially on a project this small. Now, I understand that public sector work might be a little more expensive, but this is way above anything that would go on in the private sector. And we should be focusing on 10%. And what bothers me even more is we've been pounding on Veolia and Rialto Water Services about them wanting to charge 20% and telling them it should be 10%, but yet we're doing the same thing. So I would like some discussion within Public Works, Rialto, the water utility, and probably Mr. Sullivan about keeping our construction management services costs down in this city. This is taxpayer money, and that's 20% is excessive. I don't care what anybody says, it's excessive. You talk to anybody in the industry and they will tell you that. So I would encourage you not to bring 20% back to this council again, because we'll be watching. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, do we hear a motion?
Move for approval.
Motion's been made by,
Number 8458.
motion's been made by Councilwoman Carla Perez, seconded by Andy Caraceres. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Congratulations. That concludes all of the items on the agenda. Next, we'll move into council's report. I'll start with my, did I start there on this side last time with you?
I have no report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott?
The only thing that I have tonight is, again, paving. I'm noticing a lot of bad paving in the city and a lot of potholes. So I hope we have some crews out fixing potholes, and I hope we're taking a look at some of these streets that we need to spend some paving money on. We were doing a good job there for a while, but I haven't seen us do anything recently, so I'd like to see us continue to work on it. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Carla Perez?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to share that we had the opportunity to attend Rialto Unified School District's meet and greet with their new superintendent, Dr. Alejandro Alvarez. It was attended by Mayor Baca, Councilmember Montoya, and myself, and so it was really nice to, see that they now have a new superintendent, and we look forward to his leadership with our students here in the city of Rialto. And that is all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Edwin Montoya?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I only have a couple of things, but first off, I want to say congratulations to my son and my daughter-in-law, Eddie and Trinity. They had their most recent child a couple of days ago, my fourth grandchild, and I just want to say congratulations to them. So I'm a grandpa times 4, I guess. But yes, I also went to the meet and greet for Dr. Alvarez, Rialto Unified School District Superintendent, with the mayor and Councilmember Perez. But I also received a phone call from a concerned citizen and also a business owner regarding parking issues on First Street. I've spoke to Chief Kling regarding this, and he's going to look into it and follow up with me and let me know what's going on. But I guess there's a couple of businesses in that area that are parking their customers' cars and leaving them for a few days. And to beat parking enforcement, they roll it back and they wait a few days and then roll it back forward. But it's leaving the residents to have to park 3 or 4 blocks away. And I just wanted to bring that to the attention of everyone and, be completely transparent. But that is all that I have, and thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, of course.
I left out one very important note as well, is that it was the mayor's birthday last week. And so just wanted to wish him a happy birthday on behalf of all of us here.
I turned 58, if anybody wants to know.
So that's why he didn't know about the senior programs.
I think you got it backwards.
I'm 58. Look at me, look at you.
Hey, I didn't have the easy life you had.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, we won't get into that. I'll give my report. I'll give my report. Thank you very much. I, along with, of course, Carla Perez and Edwin Montoya, attended the meet and greet with the new superintendent, Alejandro Alvarez. There was quite a few people that were in attendance. I know that a lot of people from the Water Board also attended. I know my friend, Kevin is here, attended that as well, that's sitting here in the audience. I also had an opportunity to talk to him, and he's very much interested in the possibility that I've talked to at that time to not only our city manager, but also our assistant city manager, Tim Sullivan, about the possibility of land exchange between Dollahan and the city of, which City of Rialto owns, and the land that they own right behind the Dolores Huerta Administration Building is a possibility for land exchange. We should follow up on that because it's fresh on his mind, and he's very much interested in it. And this is where we could possibly even build the soccer field right behind in that area as a possibility if we're able to do this land exchange. The other thing I'd like to mention too as well is that I attended Carter High School site council meeting, and it was very informative with a lot of the parents and students and some faculty members that were there that talked about their safety plan as well. I presented that to our city manager so she can look at it and give to our police department in terms of what they're doing in that area. Last but not least, I hope that our Parks and Recreation Director can look at the possibility of having splash pads at 4 of our parks. I mentioned this when I'm out in the community, and they're very much interested in the possibility of having these splash pads at Frisbee, Ferguson, and Rialto Park, and Sampson Park, Joe Sampson Park. So those are 4 areas that we might want to look at in terms of looking at the heat waves that we may have this summer, so people will have an opportunity to cool off. And that concludes my report. So at that point, I'll start with our clerk, Barbara McGee.
I have no report.
Thank you. Next, I'll start on our city treasurer, Edward Carrillo.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy birthday. I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Next, I'll start on our city manager, Tanya Williams.
No report this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll ask our assistant city manager, Tim Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy birthday, and
thank you.
Cynthia may have a couple senior activities coming up in our announcement for you, but and congratulations, Councilmember Montoya. So,
thanks a lot, Tim.
You're getting close. You're getting close. You're only 58, so I want to make sure you're prepared.
Next, I'd like to call on our city attorney, Eric Vale.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. There's been some mention of having a special session with regard to some ethics and AB 1234 training. We'll get that scheduled. We'll work with Tanya in your calendars to do that, and we'll include the AB 707 issues that you requested, and I'll discuss that with the clerk also. But that's the only thing I have to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on our police chief, Mark Klein.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. I'll keep my comments brief tonight. Actually, it's more of an observation. First of all, I want to express my appreciation, not just on behalf of the police department, but actually the city, for your foresight to actually set money aside for this traffic issue that we have in the city that is most likely going to go back to what Mayor Pro Tem Scott said was and Mayor Baca approved with the second, is the real-time crime center. I don't think folks in the community yet realize the impact that what you just did tonight with the addition of what these cameras are going to do in these really key areas in the city. So I want to say thank you so much for your foresight of understanding it as we start rolling that out in the next few months. And then from the observation, I want to just give some compliments to my colleague across the street with the fire chief. It is so impressive and nice to see the command staff for both the police department and fire departments here to see exactly what the council does. So I just want to actually make that observation, but it's really nice to see the public safety team together to actually push forward to make Rialto much safer. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next, I'd like to call on our fire chief, Chris Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chief Klein, for recognizing the excellent command staff that both departments have that work and function together. I just had one thing I wanted to remind the council and the community is that January is designated as Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month to address the high rates of cancer among firefighters caused by hazardous exposures throughout their careers. And as a further reminder, we've had 3 line of duty deaths in our own department here in the city of Rialto from job-related cancer. Engineer Scott Swingle, January 27, 2018. Battalion Chief Mike Peel, January 18, 2022. And Engineer Johnny Thompson, January 21st, 1999. I would also respectfully request that the City Council close tonight's meeting in their honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we can adjourn in their honor. And as you're aware, when I was in the state legislature, I actually carried the cancer presumption legislation that would allow a lot of these firefighters and future firefighters to at least get compensated for their service and for any cancer that they may have had. So if you can, we'll adjourn in memory of the 4 individuals. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to call on our Public Works Director, Yats.
Thank you, Mayor. No report.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on our Community Development Director, Christina Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Next, our Park and Recreation Director, Cynthia Alvarado Crawford.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members.
And take it light on that senior point,
You got it. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. Happy New Year. Here's what's going on in Rialto. The Youth Mentoring Program Session 1 is Wednesday, January 28th at the Teen Center from 4 to 6 p.m. Our very own Captain Rivera from the fire department will be presenting to the youth on a topic, so we're really excited to have that opportunity with her. Rec and Roll was going to be on Saturdays. The first one is January 31st at Joe Sampson Park from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Our Senior Super Bowl Spirit Day, wear your favorite football jersey, will be on Thursday, February 5th at Grace Vargas Senior Center. That's going to be going on all day. If you do go to visit our seniors, please take some selfies and tag us in it so we can post. That was for everybody? That was not for you?
Well, the Rams are out.
I just know we have a lot of football fans up there.
I'm just rooting for the numbers.
Okay, where was I? Super Bowl. All right, February swim lesson registrations are going to open back up. We do have some Red Cross scholarship dollars that our community will be able to take advantage of if they qualify. Those registrations will need to be in person. They will be opening up Saturday, February 7th, starting at 8 a.m. Our Sweethearts Dance, our Senior Sweetheart Dance will be Thursday, February 12th at Grace Vargas Senior Center from 3 to 6 p.m. And then your Save the Dates, Spring Extravaganza will be Saturday, April 4th at Frisbee Park from 10 to 2. Rialto on Wheels will be Saturday, April 25th at Rialto Civic Center from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And our International Festival will be Friday, May 1st at Rialto City Park from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. And that concludes my announcements.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to call on our Finance Director, Scott William.
Thank you, Mayor. No report.
Thank you. Our Human Resource Director, Shama.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report.
Our Utilities Director, Sachin.
Just wanted to thank the council for making a decision that's going to, help us continue to provide safe and reliable service for the ratepayers of Rialto. Thank you.
Good. That concludes all of the items on the agenda and the reports that have been given. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Carla Perez, seconded by Edwin Montoya. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any oppositions? Hearing none. Council is adjourned.
You didn't give us